and also devalue the currency. But they're going to do it simultaneously with all of the other major countries, and then the smaller countries will have to follow. So everybody will, they hope, devalue at the same time, and everybody will just step away from their debt. And that's a big thing for other nations because 64.5% of all their foreign exchange reserves are in U.S. dollars. So they could lose 90% of what they got, just like Americans essentially would in the same operation. And then the next step would be to introduce an international currency.
Can you feel it coming, folks? I don't know if we were all waiting for it, but we sure as heck could see it coming. Welcome back to the Monday edition of the Power Hour, 25 minutes past the hour. This is Dave.
And Joyce, and I thank you for joining us in the Power Hour today. If you would like a copy of this amazing newsletter, and that's the one that is helping people save money or make money, then you can call this number. You can get it calling 877-479-8178. 877-479-8178, or go to theinternationalforecaster.com. And you can get a gratis first copy of it. Look at it, see if you don't see what we see, and that is this is the most valuable piece of financial information that you can possibly partake of. Again, call 877-479-8178. Bob, let's go back to, you were in the middle of a thought there at the time as to what's going to happen, and I think let's focus on this bank bailout issue. Well, not bailout, but nationalization or privatization issue.
Well, I think that ultimately, as I said, that the U.S. and other governments will devalue, default, and want to go to a new international currency. And that's where I think they're going to run into some real problems, irrespective of the state of what America or any other country it is in. Because of the broadcasts like yours and others, people all over the world are understanding what's going on. And I get letters from people who are in governments, people who are in counterintelligence, who are in other governments, and, of course, people all throughout the world who listen to the programs who are studious and bright and interested. And they are saying we will not allow them to have a world currency. And they said because, as we've been told on your programs, that we will lose our sovereignty. Once you have an entity that dictates how your money is going to be spent and how you will structure your economy, you've totally lost your sovereignty. Take an example like Panama. They use the U.S. dollar. They really don't have anything to say about what goes on financially in their own country because they use the dollar. And so if we used a world currency, all the nations in the world would have the same problem. The dictates on what they would do financially would come out of, say, Brussels or New York City or wherever the places that this new international currency comes from. And so that's what they're up to.
Well, we're hearing more and more about gold. All of a sudden it's going to be, on second thought, this gold thing might not be a bad investment. That's kind of like they're coming to this aha conclusion of, gee, gold is sort of staying up there, isn't it? And probably at the time, though, that they're going to be all agreeing and consenting on gold, then they're going to say, gee, unfortunately, there's no more gold. Is that a possibility?
Well, I think it is. And what bears that out in the coin realm, in the small bar realm, is that throughout the world it's difficult to get coins and small bars no matter where you are. I mean, last week I talked to somebody in Frankfurt and then somebody in Mexico City, and they said, we can get you a few coins here and there, and that's about it. And so gold is disappearing. And so you say to yourself, well, why is the gold only selling around $1,000 an ounce? is because the futures market is manipulated by our government. And I really think that there's a good possibility that the ETFs, the exchange-traded funds such as GLD, which is gold, and SLD, which is silver, also being controlled from behind the scenes by government or people who control government, as Dave alluded to earlier. And so I think that you're going to continue to see people dumping their currencies in favor of gold and silver wherever they can find it. And it's not going to stop. It's ongoing. And the bottom line is there are no good currencies in the world. It's as simple as that. What's the best of the worst? The Swiss franc. Other than that, they're all just paper.
Well, let's talk about what's going on in Ireland right now. It seems that with these 100,000 people that are demonstrating, somebody said that if you bought $100 worth of stock last year in the United States, it's worth $53. In Iceland, it's worth $3.
I'll tell you what, hold on to the response until we get back from the break. It's a 3-minute break. We're talking this hour with Bob Chapman, the international forecaster. And, yeah, I know some folks don't like to hear the weather forecast when you know there's a storm brewing. Well, we can't do anything about that. Stay with us, folks. We'll be back with more of the news they hope and pray you never hear. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Monday edition of the Power Hour. Unfortunately, it's that philosophy that has brought us to this low state that we're in today. Coming up on 34 minutes past the hour, this is Dave.
And Joyce, and I thank you for joining us in the Power Hour today and encourage you to get the Sheriff Mack letter. Now, this is a letter to go to your sheriff, your county sheriff, to explain to him, number one, the problem that we're in. Number two, it's got to be done from a local level. Do not depend on your congressman to bail us out. And just how vulnerable these sheriffs are if the feds come in and say, excuse us, we're in charge here, which I know a lot of sheriffs are concerned about right now. Now, we're going to go to the phones. I would like to open up the phone lines. If you want to talk to our guest today, Bob Chapman, if you are one of those people that has benefited and made a lot of money or saved a lot of money, let us know. Let us know what you think about the newsletter, because we want other people to be able to take advantage of getting this and staying solvent, if you will. Again, the phone number, if you would like to get the International Forecaster newsletter, 877-479-8178, or go to theinternationalforecaster.com. Give us a phone call, 800-259-9231. Those of you who would like to talk to Bob Chapman, 800-259-9231. Any comments, Bob, on what Ted just said?
No, I think he's got a real good handle on the markets. He's trying to get inventory. As he said, gold has dipped a little this morning, and it's not unexpected. I imagine the shorts, who are way offside, these are the commercials, the professionals, they're probably shorting in here, and there is some profit taking. So, you know, gold is a long-term proposition, and when you see a little correction like this, if you're a buyer, you want to take advantage of it.
Let me ask you about Hillary Clinton now is pleading with the Chinese to buy U.S. treasuries. What's the relationship now with the foreign economies to the United States, and are they going to be bailing us out in any way?
Well, first off, they don't have the money to do it. They already own, it's around $2.6 trillion worth of U.S. treasuries and agency bonds, or Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, et cetera. And so I question just how much they can come up with. When they say that China has foreign exchange of $1.8 trillion, perhaps about half of that would be in U.S. government securities of one form or another. I think the figure is probably just over $1 trillion. In order to buy more treasuries, they would have to sell something that they had. That might be British pounds or another currency.
Well, China's also talking about buying up the foreign oil companies. Why don't they just go print more money and buy up whatever they want to buy up? Or we could do the same thing, print up more money and buy what we want.
It's a good point, a very good point. And in actuality, you wonder why they haven't done that. Well, maybe they'll do that down the line. I think what they're trying to do is put the money in places that they want it to be, that's out there. And the Chinese still have a large income in dollars, and they would like them to use that income that's coming in to buy treasuries. And I think the Chinese probably will continue to do so. They have in the past. Now, I know that Japan, for all intents and purposes, about 2.5, 3 years ago, really stopped buying U.S. paper. And they haven't sold any that they have, and when things came to maturity, they would roll them into new ones, but they haven't expanded their position.